Hi, I'm Ken Jr. and welcome to Train World TV. Here you'll find the latest and greatest in model trains. If you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. And if you're new to our channel, we're glad you're here, and I invite you to click the subscribe button and hit that bell notification so you'll never miss a video. Now, we'd also love to send you exclusive deals and special announcements that you won't find anywhere else. So be sure to sign up for our emails, TW Text, and stay connected with us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok. Don't forget, you can shop online at trainworld.com for all your model train needs. Now, without further ado, enjoy today's video.
Alrighty, and good evening, everyone. Welcome to Thomas Thursday, the November edition. Yes, that's right. We are back to Thursday, given a ton of things that have come up. We are now officially in the holiday season. It has been crazy. Ken Jr., unfortunately, is not with us this evening, as he is currently taking care of his newborn, as well as ramping up for the Christmas rush with 1 million orders at the warehouse. So I'm basically holding deck this evening, but I am here with two fantastic guests, one new, one the favorite face everyone sees every single event with the latest updates. So without further ado, let's get into them. Noah, how are you doing this evening?
Hi, I'm good. I'm very happy to be here.
Awesome. And those of you who don't know Noah, he is known for his phenomenal body shells and 3D printing for accurate Thomas models. So many people have referenced him in past streams. He is finally here this evening to talk about his love of Thomas model railroading, Thomas in general, Gauge 1, H-Show, Bachmann, the list goes on. So it is fantastic. And Doug Blame from Bachmann Trains, the man of the hour. How are you this evening?
Just doing great. Thank you, Christian. Always great to be with you and your fans too. And looking forward to sharing what we have at Bachmann here tonight.
Awesome. And as always, the chat is going crazy. Guys, please let us know where you're from this evening. We always like to know if you're tuning in at like 3 o'clock in the morning or at like 9 o'clock in the morning or some crazy time overseas. So let us know where you're from. We've had people from Korea tune in, people from Europe tune in, people from Africa tune in. The list goes on. So this is an international hobby, and we want to keep on spreading the word so that model railroading and Thomas never fade out. So it's wonderful again to be hosting this. Thank you again for tuning in. And we have so much action packed. Doug, just first and foremost, we have a ton of new products coming in, right, for the holiday season.
We absolutely do. Some of the things we've been waiting for all year are now in. Not everything made it on the air shipment we talked about previously on the last stream, but we did very well. And I think people will be happy.
Fantastic. And Doug, because of some scheduling conflicts, obviously this is now Thomas Thursday for this evening. I know we said that we were going to be starting with Bachmann this evening. So we will start with Bachmann and then go into Noah's Gauge 1 Customs, guys. So switching up a little bit of a switcheroo this evening, but lots of action-packed things planned for this evening. So stay tuned for the full hour to hour and a half stream that we have planned. And without further ado, we'll bring Doug to center stage.
Sounds good. While you're doing that, first of all, with apologies, I do have a hard stop at 6:30. I have another meeting lined up, and I'm sorry I'm going to be missing Noah's presentation during this live stream, but I will certainly check it out on the YouTube channel for Train World, Train World TV, and see what happened while I was away. So I'm sure Noah's got some great things to share, as Christian already mentioned. And I see lots of Santa hats back there too. He's definitely in the mood for the season already. So I'm going to start with things that are. First of all, I'm going to start with things that are already in stock. These have. The only reason I'm showing them, I think I already said they were in stock, but I can show them in a package. I don't know if I showed these, Christian, if I already showed these before, forgive me. But these are the Teleflin locomotives. This is without the Thomas and Friends faces, but the 3 different paint schemes for the Teleflin locomotives. There's the black and the red and the green. And I just wanted to show you in the package. Did I show those before, Christian? I don't know.
Actually, I don't recall, at least in the package. I mean, maybe someone can correct me on that, but that's fantastic. And I can say right off the bat, Doug, that Ken said that there were a plummet of pre-orders on these paint-schemed locomotives. So it's awesome. The holiday season, we're going to be seeing these in lots of Christmas trees, lots of stockings. So what an awesome Christmas gift.
So yeah, so as I said, they are already in stock, and you probably have them in stock as well at Train World, I would assume. So that's great. And as I said, some things did not make the air shipment that I had talked about previously. So I'm going to show you right now. Everything is in a package, but what did not make the air shipment? So I think I said previously Hannah did not make it, but she's looking good again in a package. So she'll be heading your way very, very shortly. Oh, so what didn't make the air shipment, what I'm showing you right now, these will be in at the very end of 2024, maybe into 2025, but it's most likely they would come in between Christmas and New Year. So just sneaking it in before the end of the year. So these are will be on the water to us shortly and arrive just before the end of the year. Keep your fingers crossed for that. So there's Hannah. And then also these did not make the shipment, but we'll be here for the end of the year. I'm sorry, I got to do a lot of reaching to get everything here. Okay, these are the slate wagons. So this is the oxide red there. This is the tan. It's just nice to see everything in packaging, you know. Brown. And these do come with the slate loads. There are 2 slate loads up there on top. So each of them are equipped with that. And then the gray, this is the one with the road number 136. So great way to add to your HO narrow gauge collection there. All right, so that's, oh, and one more thing that did not make the air shipment and will be here for the end of the year is the N scale Emily set. So complete ready to run set, as you know. Again, this is N scale locomotive, train, track, power pack. Unfortunately, a little bit late for a gift giving for Christmas, but it is on the way. So there's that. Now to transition into what is here, and this arrived today by air shipment. And whoops, sorry about that. So although we do not have the Emily set, we do have Emily in separate sale. So here's Emily's coach. Again, this is in today. Christian, I'm not sure do you know how long this will take to make it to Train World? If we just received it, I don't know if it's
if it just arrived today, probably within a week. Yeah.
I would think so too.
Yeah.
So there's Emily's coach available. We're taking Christian's word for it. We think in a week.
Absolutely.
The brake coach. And the star of the set, if it was Emily.
Wow.
Emily herself.
And I'm just going to say it again, for those of you watching the stream who didn't know this, Emily is the first ready-to-run Sterling single in N scale. So you could even buy 2 models and convert one of them into her real-life basis, as this is the very first time any manufacturer is offering that specific class ready to run at that scale.
I like the way you think, Christian. Sounds good. I'm just so you get a little color. It's I'm going to take out a little bit of the packaging. Hopefully the color shows up a little bit better there. All right. So she's coming. We're happy about that. Excuse me, I'll do a little moving around here. Also in stock, companion for Hannah is Henrietta. Just arrived. And we have the big guy in N scale, Gordon.
Wow.
So we're very happy that he's in stock. I know it's been a long wait for some of these models, so it's just nice to see them done, and they will be on the way to you shortly.
And you know, Doug, I remember way back in February of this year, I went to Indianapolis to visit Matt Stern and a few others at Bachmann, and they had the painted sample of that Gordon model. And just to hold that in my hand, I was like, wow, this quality, the side rod configuration at N scale, unbelievable.
Well, thank you for that compliment. We appreciate it. And it is, you know, for N scale, it's a nice chunky locomotive. It's got some heft to it, which is nice. So, all right, let's see what we got. What else we have going on here? Okay, this is also arrived recently. Oh, I'm going to show you. Well, no, I'm going to save those. They're not coming yet. I don't want to get too excited about that. But okay, so these are also arrived today, all HO scale. So we've got the 12-ton vans, gray in a package. We got Funfair blue. We like that. Funfair red. And of course, for the holidays, you got to have the Christmas wreath edition. So they're all, again, those all arrived today. And my favorite accessory of the year in a while is Sir Topham Hatt's car. Gotta love that. It just makes me smile. I don't know why. I love it.
Makes me smile like the sunshine, Doug. I love this so much.
And this was your idea, Christian. So take a bow on that one. So thank you very much for the idea, and I'm pleased with the way it came out. And Matt Stern and I, we worked hard to get this right. We work hard on everything to get it right, but this one was took some extra time for whatever reason. So we're really pleased with the way it turned out. All right. There you go. Good props there. I saw that come up on the screen. Thanks.
Absolutely.
All right. And then this is a rod. Whoops. This package is already open for photography. There is Rebecca. So she'll be in stock, Train World, hopefully within the week. And there she is.
Wow.
Talk about a chunky locomotive in HO scale. This has definitely got some heft too. Really, really solid. Good performer, good runner. I think everyone's going to be happy with Rebecca. All right. Now, unfortunately, I know I had promised figures by the end of the year. They're not going to make it. I'm not exactly sure when they're going to show up in 2025, but we do have them in packaging. So I wanted to show you those. All right, let me get those over here. All right. Narrow gauge personnel.
Wow.
It's fun to see them all together.
Yeah.
In the final packaging, like we said, it just makes them that much more real, I think. All right. Got to go with a few farmers here. There's Farmer Trotter. Farmer McCall. And Katie, of course. Teacher and school children. There are the railway personnel.
And guys, just FYI, these are not edible. All right, I'm seeing some suspicious comments about that.
What? I'm glad I don't. I'm glad I don't see the comments that you don't flash up. I can't. I don't even want. I don't even want to know. Can't
Oh
imagine.
man,
And the Hat family.
wow.
So can I? I'm anxious for these too. I know people are looking forward to these. So they, like I said, early in 2025. We'll keep you posted, of course. But they're going to happen.
Amazing.
All right. And lastly, I wanted to show, let me just make sure I showed everything here. I did. Except for our first fully painted sample of Stanley. So I know I showed you the unpainted sample previously, and I think this was one picture was posted online already. Yes. For a Thomas Tuesday from Bachmann. But anyway, so here's Stanley in paint.
Amazing.
Let me get my hand out of the way here. There he is.
I mean, Doug, friends and I were all like, that looks just like the prop from the show. We were just
that's
enamored
what's supposed
by
to
it.
happen. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Whoops. And we have one, there's a, you can see it a little bit. Anyway, there's a little parting line here on the front of the boiler. We're going to fix that up. Let's see, back.
And I see that the whistle's back too.
The whistle is back. Absolutely. Shall we recount that story? We were, Christian was visiting, and I was handling the first sample of Stanley, and I touched the whistle wasn't fully assembled. I was not glued, and I touched the whistle, and when it was in the driveway between our two buildings, and it stuck to my finger and was lost on the black macadam. It was a black whistle at the time. It was unpainted, and could not find that whistle for the life of me.
Whole story behind it. Yeah, my friend John, who might be watching right now, I'm not sure if he is, but like, yeah, we had the opportunity to visit, and oh man, there was a good funny photo of us on the ground. I have to dig for it, but if you look at one of the previous Thomas Tuesdays, I did showcase that funny photo of us on the ground searching for that whistle. But man, oh man, even at HO scale, those parts are tiny. So once they're let loose, it's pretty hard to find them.
And you and John did a great job looking. Best efforts, but anyway, we now have it here. So no long-term loss on that one. So anyway, bit of an open cab there. It doesn't go all the way down, but it's still nice to have the open cab. Some very, very basic upper backhead detailing. I don't know if you can see in there at all, but anyway, so that's the deal for tonight. The highlight of the show, I mean, aside from Stanley seeing for the first time in full paint, is just everything arriving in packaging, and hopefully for the holidays, there's lots to choose from, and there'll be a lot of happy people. So that's our goal, and we're off and running for Train World to ship everything in time, right? Now the pressure shifts to Train World.
Absolutely. And guys, please, your Christmas orders by Bachmann Trains, please tag Bachmann, tag Train World, post pictures on social media, whether it's Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, because we'd love to see which of these new products that you have acquired this holiday season. Sometimes in a group photo altogether, whether it's on your layout, any context would be just awesome, because as you can see, there are tons and tons of new products on the way.
Absolutely. So anyway, that's it. I don't know if you have an auction or not an auction, a giveaway, or if that's going to come later. Or
that would have usually been Ken, which unfortunately I don't think I'm in control of that. But
okay, gotcha.
We'll see.
So that's me in a nutshell, and I think I gave everything a good amount of time. I didn't mean to rush, but I did have the hard stop, so I didn't want to run too long.
Okay. Thank you so much, Doug. Amazing, just the amount of things to see in the new package. I was not even expecting the figures, that too, which I'm also very excited about. for 2025 once those are released.
Absolutely. So I'll hang on here until 6:30. So I'll watch the first part of Noah if you don't mind, and then I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to go. But in the meantime, I look forward to seeing what Noah has.
Alrighty.
So, as I've seen people in the comments, um, they've noticed him. If you guys don't know who he is, this is Richard. He is an OC made by Carson in the fandom, and he's been a long, I guess, lifetime goal. I guess he's been one that caught my eye, and as you can tell, I've already finished with a lot of the main engines, so I thought it was about time to move on to him, or like something more. Um, let me bring him up. He's been in the
Amazing.
works for. Oh,
And
pardon.
sorry, Richard, I just called you Richard. Noah. As you described Richard, please tell us, like, what led to all this crazy Gauge 1 customization? How did you get to it as someone who's 19? I mean, I remember we were on a call yesterday. You told me you come from a family of engineers. So you got it runs in
Well,
the family, this craftsmanship and artistry and talent, without a doubt.
long before time had a name, I got a Bachmann Thomas set. Actually, no, it was before that. I was always into, modding my trains. I had, the motorized Trackmaster Tommy Thomas stuff. I would always, dismantle them and, do the classics, make them go in reverse, repaint them, all that. And as I grew up as a kid, I got into Bachmann Trains. My first ever Bachmann Thomas set was the starter set. It was the loop with Thomas, Annie, and Clarabelle, and I have adored that ever since. Very nostalgic for me. I got it around probably 2014, I'd say, is when I first started, playing with Bachman Thomas stuff. And over the years, I've always been ambitious. I took my Bachman Thomas apart, even though my dad told me not to because it was quite expensive at the time. I ignored him because can't stop curiosity. And from there, I went on to modify it. I would repaint it. I would, change out the face so he had multiple face plates and, can express more. And as I grew up, I started to learn to 3D design. I joined an engineering class in my high school. And from there, I learned how to CAD, and I just learned how to do like custom body shells. I learned how to CAD up like replacement parts because sometimes pieces and parts would break off my engines, and I'm like, oh, I got to replace it now. So I would do that, and I would do body shells. I actually have one right here. This is my body shell that I've designed to fit on a Bachmann Thomas chassis, modified. It's not directly taken off the Bachmann Thomas. A lot of people have used my shell, which I'm very thankful for. I'm sure you've heard my name pop up in a few streams, and yeah, I've designed several body shells to fit on the Bachmann Thomas stuff because I've always noticed like, oh, this certain detail doesn't look right, and I wanted to change something about that. But there's only so much that you can do with like, cutting away at the body shell. So I was like, I'm just gonna make my own. Like, here's another one. Here's Edward. This just slides over. I make all my stuff ready to run and to put on chassis, with no to little modification. And people seem to really like that. They want to have like a challenge, they want to make it more accurate and modify it, and it seems like I've cornered that. And from that, I've actually wanted more. I wanted to be more accurate, and I've realized, oh, the scale is a bit too small for me. I want to do something bigger. Um, Obviously, it led to something bigger because I have 1 through 3 in my house, and then some. So that led to me learning how to do Gauge 1. I'm very thankful to have friends who've previously who are already in the scene, Gauge 1 scene, like Covey. Shout out to Covey. He's helped me through everything. He taught me what I know by laser cutting the body shells using certain store-bought parts, and I can't be here without him. He's very important to me. And yeah, I guess the rest is history. I've gained quite a following due to my engines and my other Gauge 1 projects. So I'm very happy to be known as a Gauge 1 modeler.
Awesome. Well, you've got 10 million customs sitting on that shelf. Can we go through them?
Yes.
Awesome.
I'm seeing a lot of people wanting to take another look at Richard. So Richard has been on the down low for a long time, probably for 4-5 months. I was talking to Carson, his creator, and he allowed me to take the design and take his 3D model and design a proper body shell to fit on the chassis. I tried to emulate the characteristics of the classic series. Like he has used the Markland chassis, and there's all his insides. There's nothing in there yet, so but very spacious to add smoke mechs, IMAX, and for now he's just a showpiece. He's just a pretty thing to look at. And he was also kind enough to give me the actual face that they use on the Trains model. So he is in a darker green. Oh,
That's me. Sorry. I do
No, you're
still
good.
have a landline. I'm going to cut out, and happy holidays, everyone. Thank you very much.
All right.
Bye.
Oh, I can't turn it off. Christian, throw me off. Oh, there we go. I got it.
Oh. All right.
So yeah, this is a probably one of the first OCs in Gauge 1, honestly. So I'm very happy that I've made him. I have shown Carson, and he's also very happy in how it looks. So yeah. I do have his tender back here. All hand built, made out of acrylic, and a few 3D printed parts. So here it is. For 3D printed parts wise, I printed like his bogies. His wheels are Markland, and the overall body is laser cut out of acrylic, and the coal I custom made with resin. So
Beautiful.
very proud about him. I do have 2 other engines that I've had on the back burner for a while, and those are Bill and Ben. I quite literally just finished them last night.
Wow.
They are terrifyingly small. There you go. So they did go to Edison with me, but one of them was unfinished, and I had to face him around because he wasn't he didn't have one of them didn't have a face, so can't let the kids see.
Yeah.
But I just finished their names, their Brendan Bay and the SEC. And shout out to my friend Truck, who helped me actually finish one of them. One of the bit of the paint bubbled up, and I sanded it, repainted again, sanded it, repainted again, trying to get rid of it, but just to like no fruition. So I sent it over to him for him to mess around with it because he's amazing at painting stuff. So I sent
He's
it
got
over
quite a
to him.
sense, and he's got quite a sense of humor. I'm looking at some of his
Oh
comments
yeah,
in the chat.
oh yeah, he's amazing. He's the life of the party. So I sent it over to him. He finished it in 2 passes, and I'm like, shucks. I don't know how he does it, but he managed to finish it, and I'm very thankful that he did. And I just, put on the last few detail bits like the SCC and the Brendan Bay, and also the faces. They're cute little things. Probably the
Right out of
smallest engines I own.
right out of the classic series. I get, season 2, season 3 vibes, just looking at those.
Oh yeah. So did those two. I I haven't made any new engines necessarily besides Richard. A lot of my engines I've had for quite a while. I've kind of just almost reached my magnum opus with engines. I've had these for quite a long while. I think the oldest engine I have actually is it's probably James. I made him about a year and a half ago, maybe a year ago, and he's definitely showing his age. Um, he has a bit of worn paint. Um, Used some old, painting methods I wasn't too happy with right now, but he still looks as shiny as ever. So I'm very happy that the shine does still come through. um, and yeah, they've they've kind of just been normalized for me. I walk down here every day and I'm just like, oh, there's my shelf of Gauge 1 engines, and I'm just like, whatever. A lot of my friends still are amazed by how much stuff I have. And people in general, they're like, how do you have this much stuff? And I'm just like, I don't know. I kind of just did it. So yeah.
Takes years of collecting, years of
Yes.
ambition, years of desire, and before you know it, it's like, how did that happen? It's like, oh yeah, I've
Right.
been doing this for like 19, 20, 21 years. So there you go.
So I've had quite a long journey for this.
Hmm.
Um,
So is
I
it possible? Sorry, is it possible to take the models off the shelf and
Oh
like
yeah,
open up this?
of course it is.
Okay,
I take them on and off all the time. There's a
sorry.
bit of finagling.
Perhaps I jumped the gun there, but
No, you're good. You're good. People love seeing these guys. I mean, is there anybody else you would like to see?
oh, all of them.
Um, Name off an engine.
Well, why don't we start with the blue boy himself, Thomas? Let's just take a
All
look at
right.
him.
As you can tell, I've already gotten in the Christmas spirit. So Thomas, the most recent addition I have done is his snowplow.
Wow.
3D printed, and just sanded down, spray painted blue. Really simple. Resin printed, obviously, and very simple fit. It just slides over his buffers. Just a tension fit. And I'll be bringing him to shows. So he'll most likely be wearing this wherever he goes for the next month or two. In terms of build wise, I don't know if this will be my final Thomas. I don't know if you know, I have made several Thomases over the years. I think I'm
Yeah, I've
at
seen.
3, 4 now. It's
Hmm.
been it's been a lot, and each time I remake Thomas, I improve something about it because I notice something wrong about him, and I tweak it and I fix it every time I do Thomas. Um, a lot of my friends are like, "Oh, why do you just replace your Thomas? It's like perfect." And I'm like, "Because I'm crazy, I'm insane, and I want to be, you know, I want to fix my mistakes." Um, so keep your eyes peeled because this one might go up soon or whenever I do it. He does have all his bells and whistles. Actually, he has a smoke mech. If you look in
Wow.
there, and he does have his iMech. I'm currently waiting on new batteries. I've been trying to find smaller batteries because he is a very small engine and can only fit so much. So
Mhm.
this is what he looks like currently. Um, I I tried to recreate how they did in the show with like a balloon pump, but I um, figured out it wasn't extremely efficient, um, and I based off of American Flyer units. I don't know if you've taken apart American Flyer units, but they have a piston pump that's connected to the gear mechanism. So obviously it moves back and forth like an actual piston, and it blows puffs of air into the smoke chamber, and obviously goes out the funnel. So it's the engine smoke mechs are very similar to American Flyer units.
I see. So I was gonna ask, is it still like the same kind of smoke as like what you would find in like the Sooth smoke units, that
Yeah,
German
yeah,
company?
it's just as thick. I find it to be a bit better because obviously it's like a puff instead of just like a constant whiff of smoke up in the air. And
Mm,
I've just been so used to to these units that whenever I see like American smoke, HO American engines with like smoke, I'm like, that doesn't feel right. I'm so used to the puffing and like the bigger plumes of smoke that I'm not used to the little Sooth units that they have. So
yeah, yeah, yeah.
um
And the annoying thing sometimes, right, with DCC really is you need DCC in order for a convincing amount of smoke to come out,
yeah,
especially at a slower speed, right? Because when you have DC, I always find that you have to run the engines at least like 80 to 90 on the controller for the smoke to even be visible. And even then,
yeah.
it's not that much. So,
Yeah, I've just been cursed by Gauge 1, unfortunately. Suffering
yeah.
with success. um, and there's his insides. Um, he's RC controlled, not completely. He's track powered, but his iMech is RC controlled. You can see the receiver, the two servos. It's connected. They're glued together, and uh, they do the up, down, left, right. And if I'm careful, I can slightly move them.
Nice. Oh my God.
Unfortunately, I don't have his battery in here, so I can't do the classic eye roll with his controller. So unfortunately, you have to look in one direction. So that's Thomas is the most complete because obviously smoke and eyes are done in him. Then it's a very simple way to put them back together. It's literally just swinging a tab at the front and back to hold this chassis on. I know that my friend Truck, he likes screwing them in, and granted, it is pretty safe to screw them in, but I like my little tabs.
Nice, nice. And once again, this is like a season 4 or 5, Thomas, that you were going for.
Yeah, yeah, it's what I strive to do.
Mm.
Um, I just love the way season 4 looks. It's very warm, very cozy, and it always just piqued my interest as a kid.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, anybody else
I'm seeing a
want to
lot of
name off an
requests,
engine?
a lot of requests for Duck.
Duck. Oh, unfortunately, he's going through a bit of a cosmetic surgery at the moment. Um, Here he is. He's quite the
Nice.
cutie. Um, he suffered some damage while obviously traveling out to shows, so I had to sand down the top of his tank, and I puttied it, and I need to repaint it. So he will be eventually repainted. It's just that I haven't had the time because I've been focusing on the train show that I'm going to go to this month. So he's been kind of put on the back burner at the moment. But yeah, he's my favorite character. So um, I tend to like him the most. Though this iteration of him is something I want to replace. There are a few people who are interested in buying the shell off of me, so I have to I have to look into that. But yeah, he's probably one of my favorites that I've done. You know, all laser cut and 3D printed tanks, and whatever of the smaller bits are 3D printed. So very happy with him.
Fantastic.
So any more engines?
I did see a few for Oliver. So while we're on Great
Oliver.
Western,
All right. Here is Oliver.
dude, so good.
Thank you, thank you.
You know, I think it's also because Oliver especially, and this is no way me like roasting Bachmann or Mattel with the CGI render, but that model era design has always stuck with me as a kid. Just those monster wheels, right?
He was so
And
chunky. I
yeah,
loved
yeah,
it.
and just the chunky body show with the thicker dome. So to see a physical model of that, which unfortunately we didn't get from Bachmann because the CGI render is what it is,
Yeah,
but just to see that it's just remarkable, and I'm dying to one day maybe make a model of Oliver like that in HO scale. Yeah.
yeah. He's definitely one of the heftier ones. Also one of my favorites because just the way he's built. He was quite the complex engine to do because obviously he has a trailing wheel, and it was a whole scratch build process because
Yeah.
I had
Now is
to.
that powered? Is the trailing wheel
Yes,
powered? Oh wow.
the back wheel is actually powered. You can see the plunger pickup and the
Yeah.
pickup touching the axle.
Wow.
So this was a whole process. His chassis has been quite the fighter, um, and I finally got to a point to where he's um, like he runs perfectly. He has an updated motor because um, to those who didn't know, the season 1 and 2 characters had a different design of Markland chassis. We people call it the Gen ones. It's uh, it's very slight differences. They updated the valve gear with the Gen 2s, and they upgraded the motors. Oliver has the newer motor because he's a Gen 2, and it is a really nice, smooth running can motor, and he's really quiet. Um, with the first gens, they're a lot louder. It's a combination of them being all geared, the Markland motors, the first gen Markland motors just being like open frame and quite loud and noisy. Um, so he's quite the smooth runner.
Wow.
So and he can haul quite a lot. I've
Yeah.
noticed.
And you know what it is too? I just remembered what it is about those wheels. The specific shot of him when he returns from the works and Oliver owns up. He's in that waterfall shot from season
Yeah,
3. And you just see the side rods and the wheels glistening in the sun. It's such a beautiful shot, man.
I
Oh,
know. I love the sheen my engines give off. I'm very happy that
yeah.
they are this glossy. Um, Oliver, Oliver specifically, he's one of the older ones that I do definitely want to redo his paint on. Um, but even still, I'm very proud with him. He was mostly laser cut, fairly certain. The only 3D printed parts were his boiler, his dome, firebox, safety valve, and his splashers. Everything else was just laser cut. Um, and I'm very proud on how he turned out. Um, he's all plastic. And the funny thing is that the actual prop was brass. Oliver was the first ever brass model that they ever did, and him being brass, it was a lot more sturdier. It was a lot more rigid and and the thickness could be a lot thinner compared to plastic. So I had to use a thinner plastic, probably about a mil to like a mil and a half, and that has shown its troubles. I did crack his buffer beam. I think it's on the back. I don't know if you can see, but there's a bit of a seam line where it did crack, and I had to fill. And that's one thing that kind of annoys me. Definitely for my second Oliver, I will most likely do him out of brass, but for now he's plastic, and I'm happy with him. So he'll just be this for a long time.
Fantastic. And I heard, or not heard, but saw a question about the shade of green. How did you match that shade of green for Duck and Oliver?
I used the same green that they used on the show. Obviously, they repainted it season after season. I use Volkswagen Alpine green. I got a custom mix online, and it wasn't too much. It was only like $30. It lasted me quite a long while. I think it covered Percy, Duck, Oliver, and a bit of Henry's Tender.
Nice,
So those cans
nice.
are definitely worth it if you want to get a nice green.
And is that like season 3, would you say?
Yeah, I'm not too satisfied with the green at the moment. It is a really good green, but I strive to be, a bit more accurate. So I'm currently researching different greens, how to and like, what are like better shades for it. But for now, I think it is a good green. I'm content with it, and yeah, that's just how they'll stay for now until I eventually replace it. So.
Nice. So while we're on green, can we see the diesel rail car?
Ooh. Daisy, she's one I haven't showed off as much. I finished her right before the Edison show in August, and she was like a real quick one I did. I'm not I'm not fully done with her. There are parts that I want to replace and fix up, but for now she's presentable, and I will just roll with her for now till I find the time to fully replace everything. I
Wow.
I went the full mile, and I did the fake eyelashes. It was a interesting story telling my mom, oh yeah, I need fake eyelashes for my train. So when she understood, she's like, oh yeah, cool, whatever.
Well, you gotta just pay that to David Mitton and the crew for poking fun at Brent Allcroft.
Right. Though Daisy is probably another one of my favorites. She's all 3 mil thick, so she's quite sturdy. Like I can, grab her, and she's like, she won't break because she's so like tough and thick. So yeah. This was quite an interesting project because I had to hand bevel every single curve. All of this I took to my grind wheel, and I just ground it down until it was like a nice curve. Because
Wow.
I don't know if you looked into laser cutting before, but with laser cutting, you have to do flat sides. It can't do any complex like curvatures on the side. It can only do 2D images, and I was use the laser and cut that shape. So she was quite the interesting project because it was so tedious beveling every single corner. But it was well worth it, and I'm very happy how she turned out.
Yeah, it really is beautiful.
So she is quite the looker. Unfortunately, she's not motorized. She uses my old chassis that I haven't touched in ages. Actually, speaking of her chassis, because her chassis is completely scratch built too. I didn't purely use like the Markland chassis. I did use the Markland chassis like frame and wheels. As you can see the gears, the axle and wheels. 3D printed the frames, and I 3D printed this tower that she sits on. And then I got a aluminum, I think it's a U channel, it's technically called, and I cut them to size, and I was gonna weld it, but it didn't weld too good, so I just ended up gluing it all together. But it's still pretty sturdy, and I'm really happy with it. So
And this chassis can be used with Boco as well?
yes, it can. Obviously swapping out the trucks to be the 3-axle variant. But whenever I do remake Boco, I will make a whole new chassis for him.
Nice.
So she's another back burner
Matt says in the
project.
chat, I wonder where Boco is.
I sure do wonder. But she's quite long, so she's hard to get on and off the shelf.
I see you've got Salty up there. I'm kind of intrigued to see him next.
Yes. Salty. I've had him for quite a long time. He's been passed around my friend group, several dozen times. So here he is. I'm especially proud on his weathering. I don't know how well the weathering shows up on camera. I think it most shows up on like the yellow parts, but I am completely in love with how I did the weathering.
Wow. Yeah.
All hand painted, and I think there's a few powders here and there, but it's mostly hand painted. I painstakingly stared at an image of his front, and I try to recreate all the the rust streaks down as accurate and precise as possible. So that definitely took a good week to do all his weathering. In terms of how I built him, all 3D printed, besides the wheels, but he's probably my only fully 3D printed body. I think I did scratch build a few parts here and there. I think like these rectangles, I just scratch built out of styrene and stuck on. And yeah, I don't remember what paint I painted him in, but I remember having a long look through like a Menards.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys know what Menards is, but Home Depot, like the paint catalog, and I try to get the best color and painted him in that. It was also tedious to do the WAS stripes or the hazard stripes along his body because it wraps around his cab, and I had a very tiresome time masking every little bit one by one, but it was well worth it, and I'm very happy on how he turned out. Unfortunately, he does not run. Just a free roller for now. Eventually, whenever I do find the time, I will replace his chassis with a proper, brass one, or I think it was aluminum. Just a proper metal chassis to for this dude. So, yeah.
Awesome. All right. The next comment I see is Henry. So maybe we see
Henry.
him.
Oh, the drivers are in front of him, so gotta move him over. Ooh. Come on. All right. So, Henry. He is thankfully going to be my last Henry rendition I ever do because he's essentially perfect, I guess. I did make a Henry ages ago, but that had a few wrong measurements and I wasn't happy with him, so I decided to, sell him off and remake it. So I'm a lot more happier with this one and very pleased on how he turned out. Yeah, like with all my other engines, he is a laser cut acrylic with a few scratch built parts and a few 3D printed parts. He's probably the biggest engine besides Gordon over there, and Richard obviously, but he's one of the biggest engines, and I'm very happy on how he looks. So, same green as Duck and Oliver, Alpine green. unfortunately, I don't have all his, guts in there yet. He doesn't have his iMac. He doesn't have his smoke Mac yet, but that'll be a long, tedious process. Funny enough, I actually had to steal some parts off of my Henry for my friend Joey's Henry. And I stole the co-load for his because I was like, oh, I can always remake co-loads. Well, whatever. And I think I did steal like the safety valves
Yeah.
and the drawbar, but yeah, I replaced them. So he's definitely one of the cuter ones. Love him. So
That has to be one of my favorites. And I get immediate Henry's Forest, Fish, and the list goes on
oh yeah,
vibes.
I
you know?
have a bunch of vans, and I actually just got the LBSC van. It's one of the last van kits from 10 mil we've been looking for, and it's like we struck gold. We're done. We don't have to think about on being on the search for 10 mil kits anymore. So very happy that we have the very last kit that we can use to recreate the whole show.
Yeah.
So
Amazing. All right. I saw Donald and Douglas. Someone wants to see them.
yeah, love them. Come on.
All right. And Bluebells 5529 has joined the party too. He says hello. How you doing, Johnny?
Oof. So the Scots.
The Scots. Nice.
There you go. They were an interesting build, honestly. Because they obviously have like the ribbed boiler with the boiler bands going down the side of them. It's been a whole interesting process on how to do them because I've never done something like this before. But yeah, it was quite an interesting journey. I'm very happy on how they turned out. They're actually one of the easiest models to make because there's black. You don't have any complex, colors. You don't have any like altercations in like color. They're just black and red and vinyl lining. And I finished them quite fast, actually. They are actually some of the most complex. They have some of the most complex mechanisms because with how they're built, they aren't cut up. Their chassis aren't cut up and repositioned. Their wheels are taken out and repositioned. Yeah, let me take off the body here. So this is how they look at the inside. I don't know if you can tell down. Can't really tell down there, but you can see right there that little gear poking out. I had to mill the top of the chassis out to clear that, and it's a good 1/4 inch, 6 mil of just zinc. I don't know what these are made out of, but just metal I had to mill through, and these are quite the hassle to do because I had to do a custom gearbox for them. I had to reposition the wheels, drill new holes for the wheels, and obviously cut down their side rods and resolder them back together. You can see all the scorch marks. But yeah, definitely worth it to do. They're really fun to do, so very happy with them. And their tenders. Oh, their tenders is a very interesting story. Some people might already know this because I've posted about it before, but they are actually cut up and glued back together from the Markland tenders. I should have a Markland tender over here. If you don't mind the bash of plastic. Yes. They are BR55 tenders. cut up and glued back together. Um,
Oh,
you
wow.
can mainly tell because of the lip around the top of the tender frame.
Hmm.
Yeah, there you go. It's the exact same on them. So I had to cut these things up and glue them back together. It's almost like a Frankenstein. A lot of these trains are Frankensteins. So
God, just with how smooth it all turns out and the gloss finish, you would never know. You would
right,
never know.
putty saves your life.
Yeah.
Filler putty, hopes and dreams. Let's see. Anybody else, or is that it?
I see Edward.
All right. We'll do Edward as the last one then.
All
We've been already been going on for quite a while.
Yeah, I know. We could go on all night with this if
Right.
we had to.
Edward is small, very small. He's, I'd argue, is quite smaller than Thomas and Percy because he's so thin. Like, look at his neck.
Yeah.
He's another one of my favorites. He's just so appealing to me. And with like such a small wheelbase, you need a lot of pickups. I just recently scratch built some new pickups for his front. Very similar to how the show did it. And he runs 10 times better because he can actually pick up more power.
Mm.
So he's quite the cutie.
Amazing.
Ooh. There you go. And very glossy.
Edward's exploit vibes. Here we go.
Right. Unfortunately, I will not be cracking my Edward splasher. I'd rather not. So
Please don't. Too perfect.
yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Noah, for showcasing those Gauge 1 models. Guys, it just goes to show that the Thomas fandom, it never stops growing with the amount of possibilities there have been. Obviously, looking back at the show in the 80s and 90s and early 2000s, we were consistently amazed at the craftsmanship and artistry. But now us fans have the ability to recreate it with the right tools, the right desire, the right ambition. It just goes to show the possibilities never, ever end. And a lot of us are doing HO, but I know a lot of us are now cranking into Gauge 1 to it. And Noah is the perfect proof of that possibility. So don't be afraid. You know who to contact if you need any advice. He is the man. He is known as the LBSC Thomas via Twitter, Instagram, and are you also on any other platforms?
No, just those two.
Those two primarily. All right. So Twitter or AKA X or Instagram. Please get in touch with him should you be interested in exploring Gauge 1 to an even higher extent. All right. Is there anything else you would like to transition now to, Noah?
I do have an announcement to make.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if you guys have been following me, but I have been scanning a lot of the toy faces that have that use, like the cast from the ones on the show. A lot of the older, 90s and 80s toys and early 2000s, the show gave cast to them to scale down and use on the toys. So I've been slowly collecting those, and I've been scanning them for printing, modeling use, whatever your heart desires. And later today, probably right after this, I will post the link, and you guys can have free access. Go wild with it. As long as you credit me, please. You guys can, use it for, 3D modeling, print it for your HO stuff, and do whatever you want with it. So
Stay tuned,
I've
guys. Stay tuned later tonight.
I've been slowly been building up the collection, probably 70, I think now. And there's quite a lot, a lot of faces that we haven't seen before. And yeah, very excited to release it later today.
Amazing. Well, again, thank you so much, Noah, for showcasing your amazing work here via
course.
Train World TV. Again, so much to learn from, to be inspired by. And guys, resorting back to even the HO stuff, take note that a lot of Noah's body shells that you can get from him utilize obviously a 3D printed body shell, but work with the Bachmann chassis. So just real quick, I wanted to share my screen as we are approaching the holiday season, and as you guys know, this is going to be the last Thomas Tuesday for 2024. But can everyone see the screen? All right, good. So we have all these products you can pre-order. We'll be updating images as they come in, as I know that we recently saw Sir Top Matt's car and the figures. Those should be up soon, but you can sort out a bunch of categories. Obviously, Bachmann being the primary with 186 products. And that doesn't even include some of the products that were announced back at NMRA this year. So just go through, go wild. We got Sir Handel. He's a big popular one. We've got the DCC Thomas and Percy on the way. We got Bulgy on the way. And again, there's all sorts of ways you can sort it out via scale, via pre-order, via new arrivals. And just go crazy. The possibilities never end. Possibilities never, ever end. So I'm just skipping through here just to showcase the wide selection of products. We just got to see the Tali Klin paint variants that Doug showcased earlier on. They are now ready for order. They will definitely be here before the holiday season. So stay tuned for that. And just so we know, even just taking HO scale, Bachmann has now produced with Stanley and now, with Stanley and Sydney and the mainland diesel now on the way. Bachmann has now produced 29 engines in HO scale, and that does not include G scale, that does not include narrow gauge, and that does not include N scale. So it just goes to show that Thomas is huge for them, and it will continue to be huge. I have heard from Doug that they have plans for 2025, so stay tuned for what's announced next February, as well as NMRA. It is the 80th anniversary, so here's hoping that there's going to be a lot in store. But like I said, go to Train World, go crazy, pre-order, get a nice batch in for your holiday season, so you got a nice thing to showcase underneath the Christmas tree on Christmas morning. And yeah, thank you very much, guys. Please never ever lose the passion, because there is so much to explore in the world of Thomas model railroading. Alrighty. Any final words, Noah?
Trains are cool, man.
Trains are cool. Trains are cool. And for those of you who tuned in late, yes, you'll notice that it's just me this evening. Doug had to tip out earlier. His segment was at the beginning of the stream. And Ken, obviously, as you know, is dealing with the Christmas rush and also recently had a baby. So he's got a lot going on with that. But this stream, nevertheless, was a major hit, with Noah being the primary guest, showcasing all those amazing Gauge 1 customs. Doug, again, went through a ton of things that have just arrived at the warehouse and will be here before the holiday season. So go on Train World and get your orders in, because chances are you'll have a nice batch under the Christmas tree Christmas morning. So thank you very much, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. And sorry, I got to get the outro ready. Happy Thomas Tuesday. Or Thursday, rather. Bye-bye, guys.